Hello friends, hi, I'm Dr. Shonali Chandra, your Obs Gynae faculty at PW MedEd. Now that the INICET November 2023 exam is done and dusted, I first want to congratulate the students who cleared INICET this year. Unfortunately, some of us may be preparing again, some of us may be appearing for INICET for the first time, right? Recall तो हमने पहले कर लिया है YouTube पे, there's this mega recall session that we conducted. बट अभी फोकस डिफरेंट है. अब फोकस है व्हाट इज द वे अहेड, क्योंकि अभी हमें आगे की एग्जाम की तैयारी करनी है. So what we have to look at is what sort of questions have INICET been asking, and what can we learn from the most recently conducted exam, and in fact not from the most recently conducted, but from the past 5 years. It is always important to go ahead and look at previous year MCQs. That is the most and most important thing to do. ये आपको हर कोई बताएगा, इसमें कोई नई बात नहीं है, because most often the topics are repeated. See, rip off नहीं होता है question most of the time, direct as it is, repeat होना एक दो question हो सकते हैं, but generally topics are repeated. Okay. एंड कभी कभी येस वन ऑफ हैंड कोई टॉपिक पूछ लिया जाता है, तो एक हमारा ना एक सिलेबस का एक चंक रेडी होता है विच इज द मस्ट नो एरियाज. मस्ट नो एरियाज के बाद वी विल हैव अ सेगमेंट जहाँ पे वी विल हैव सम रिसेंटली आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस. मे बी इट वाज इम्पॉर्टेंट अर्लियर, बट इन द पास्ट 5 years इट वॉज नॉट आस्ड एंड इट इज बीइंग फ्रेशली आस्ड अगेन. तो वो फिर हमें एक एडिशन जो है तैयारी करनी पड़ती है. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल इस INICET नवंबर 2023 में और इसके पहले वाले में भी और नीट में भी वी आर सीइंग क्वेश्चंस बीइंग आस्क्ड ऑन maternal and fetal infections, and that has become a hot topic. This is again, I will include it as a must know topic for the upcoming exams. ये याद रखें. If you look at the chunk of the questions out of the 200 questions that are asked in the INICET, हमेशा ये standard है, इसी के around revolve करता है. 15-20 odd questions are there in INICET from Obs and Gynae. This time there were about 15 questions. If you look at the type of questions that are asked, so image based question, this time there was just one image based question, but hamesha always we should expect image based questions in INICET. That is without fail, that is going to be there. Okay. Apart from that, INICET will have a couple of questions which are match the column kind of questions, which are reason assertion questions. This time round, they were not there from Obs and Gynae, but we can never be sure with INICET. They may put it in from any of the topics or any of the subjects that are available, right? So we have to be prepared with all sorts of questions, and that is only possible if we revise the subject thoroughly, if we focus on again I'm saying previous year questions. That doesn't mean and never think that the question is going to be an exact repeat ever, but always try to focus on the important areas, and we have to keep revising them again and again. That is the only key. If you look at whether we are expecting clinical questions on one liners, तो trend क्या चल रहा है, I would say it is a good mix. Okay, it is a good mix. Okay, and let me also remind you कि इन तरह के questions के there is no different kind of strategy, there's no different kind of preparation. From what I believe, one should always focus on clearing the concepts and the basics. Clinical questions की तरह ही आपको हमेशा अप्रोच करनी चाहिए अपनी प्रेपरेशन, बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर डीलिंग विद द टॉपिक इन अ क्लिनिकल मैनर, इट इज एट द सेम टाइम दैट यू आर रिवाइजिंग द इंपॉर्टेंट वन लाइनर्स. Interesting thing about one liners that we are seeing now is very close options. We are also seeing tricky one liners that make you think. So there are questions that make you think even though they may be one liners, right? So again and again coming back to the importance of concept building, and one should give up the practice of mugging up and rote learning until and unless of course there are certain areas जहाँ पे हमारे पास ऑप्शन ही नहीं होता सिवाय रटने के. Now, if you look at the integrated questions being asked this time, yes, there was one Obs Gynae question integrated with psychiatry. It was basically on a drug, lithium during pregnancy. It could have been answered with some understanding of pharmacology also. So that is the sort of integrated questions we're looking at. There was one integrated question with, forensic medicine. There can always be integrated questions between medicine and obs-gynae. Integrated questions between obs-gynae and PSM. राइट सो जैसे हम लोग नेक्स्ट पैटर्न पे भी बात कर रहे थे कि अलाइड सब्जेक्ट्स का हमेशा इंटीग्रेशन हो सकता है विद द मेजर क्लिनिकल सब्जेक्ट. सो इंटीग्रेटेड क्वेश्चंस will always be there, I think. So one should be focusing again on building the concepts, and other than that it will come with revision. It will come with revision, it will come with practice, and it will also come with giving grand tests. rather than thinking about कि हमने बस टॉपिक पढ़ा, टॉपिक के ही क्वेश्चंस कर लिए, उससे क्या होता है कि हमारा माइंड बहुत क्लटर हो जाता है. We get we do a topic, then we just pick up the questions from that topic और उसी को हम करते रहते हैं. तो हम हमेशा ऑब्वियसली जिस टॉपिक के हमने क्वेश्चंस उठाए हैं सॉल्व करने के लिए, ठीक है, तो हमें पता है कि हमें उसी टॉपिक के अराउंड सोचना है, तो हमारी सोच की प्रैक्टिस नहीं हो पाती है, राइट, विच इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वी हैव टू ट्रेन आवर ब्रेन इनटू थिंकिंग कि जब हमारे पास एग्जाम में क्वेश्चंस फ्लैश होंगे वो टॉपिक वाइज नहीं फ्लैश हो रहे, ठीक है, वो सब्जेक्ट वाइज भी नहीं फ्लैश हो रहे हैं. Your first question could be from pediatrics, your second question could be from medicine, and so on and so forth, right? So when you practice questions in the form of grand tests, in other words, you mix and match your practice of questions, mix and match subjects, mix and match topics while practicing MCQs. That will help you develop an integrated approach to even, think about a question. बिकॉज कई बार वो एग्जाम में ख्याल ही नहीं आता कि ये क्वेश्चन जो है ना ऑब्स गायनी का लग रहा है, बट ये ऑब्स गायनी से नहीं, ये तो साइकेट्री की अंडरस्टैंडिंग से सॉल्व हो सकता है. या ये क्वेश्चन ऑब्स गायनी का लग रहा है बट ये तो PSM या फिर ये फोरेंसिक मेडिसिन की अंडरस्टैंडिंग से सॉल्व हो सकता है. So that kind of a thing will only come if we keep practicing, questions. And again, we can do it with the grand tests that are available on the app. And other than that also, जब आप खुद भी questions उठाओ करने के लिए, तो अपने ही क्वेश्चंस की प्रैक्टिस को आप मिक्स एंड मैच कर सकते हैं. दिस इज अ गुड स्ट्रैटेजी विच आई यूज टू फॉलो इन माई डेज एज वेल. Now, if you look at the direct repeats part of the question, there was only one direct repeat question, right? वो भी किस्मत से था, generally वो होगा भी नहीं, because I really think कि direct repeats as to word rip off होना is not which is not really expected in INICET exam. सिर्फ एक था HPV वैक्सीन वाला क्वेश्चन जो कि direct repeat था. Other than that, topics were definitely repeat. इस बार के एग्जाम में there was not a single out of the way topic that was asked. Topics were definitely repeated. वही questions, वही topics को वो हमेशा अलग अलग तरीके से पूछे जाते हैं. So topics that were repeated, this is very very important to have a look at what topics were related. I'm telling you, labor room associated questions are very very important. मतलब आप लेबर रूम में घुसो और वहाँ पे whatever you are watching happening in the labor room, that is important, right? Like identification of complications during labor, right? इस बार uterine inversion पे भी question था, इस बार cord presentation पे भी question था. अब cord prolapse पे वो already question पूछ चुके हैं, right? Now this time they asked on cord presentation, right? हमेशा आपके hypertensive disorders, so obstetric emergencies, obstetric complications, they're always and always important. Hypertensive disorders में pre-eclampsia का question था, clinical management पूछा गया था. There's questions on placental abruption. So जब मैं obstetric emergencies कहती हूँ तो placental abruption, placenta previa, these are always important topics, right? So obstetric hemorrhage basically. Obstetric hemorrhage basically. So it all actually revolves around labor room associated questions, right? This is something that is the most important area. If you look in gynae, PCOS pe they've been asking a lot of questions. PCOS is very very important. I'm telling you, reproductive years में जो भी clinical condition you see in the OPD day in and day out, that is an important topic. right? So reproductive years में abortion related complications, ectopic, PCOS in reproductive age group women, amenorrhea पे surprisingly इस बार question नहीं था. They've been asking amenorrhea for quite some time now, so amenorrhea cannot still be ignored. Amenorrhea, abnormal uterine bleeding, जो भी condition OPD में आती है, that becomes important. I'm telling you, that is how you can sort out के भाई that there are situations that we see day in and day out in OPDs. There are patients that are admitted in the wards. All those topics are important. So I keep emphasizing, yes, you have to focus on what kind of patients you are seeing in your institution's OPD, what kind of patients are being admitted in the wards. So be a part of that also while preparing. Internship is a good time. एक महीने की posting होती है in the Department of Obs Gynae. That is a good time to see what kind of patients are in the ward and the OPDs and in the labor room. So take your clinical work seriously. I think that should be one strategy which स्टूडेंट्स हु स्टिल हैव द टाइम, जो अभी इंटर्नशिप कर रहे हैं या जो अभी फाइनल ईयर में है, उन्हें इस एस्पेक्ट पे भी ध्यान देना चाहिए. आई बिलीव इट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट फोकसिंग on just mugging up material. So that's very very important. Infertility again is an important topic. Reproductive age group women में आप endometriosis देख लो, adenomyosis देख लो, ये सारे important topics हैं. Okay. गायनी कैंसर्स इज ऑलवेज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. इस बार सर्वाइकल कैंसर पे टॉपिक नहीं था, एचपीवी वैक्सीन पे था. ओवेरियन कैंसर के 2 क्वेश्चंस थे, एक क्लिनिकल क्वेश्चन था, एक डायरेक्ट ट्रिप ऑफ डायरेक्ट वन लाइनर एमसीक्यू था. So even then, yes, we are looking at very, very close options, even if they're asking you about one-liners, right? So we have to be careful of that we read the question carefully, okay? And again, this will, come with a practice. If you look at the difficulty level, okay, see, I would say it is a good mix. Okay, it's sometimes we feel that it is difficult because it is INICET. Sometimes there are questions that are asked which have never been asked. That is going to be true for any exam, but the majority of the questions are going to be easy to moderately difficult, if not very difficult, right? So it is going to be good mix, and whatever is going to be new is going to be new for most of the students. The difficulty level of the exam is precisely because of closer options. It is precisely because of clinically oriented questions. Even if one liners are there, there are close options that we see. So that is why there is a difficulty level to the exam. Not difficulty level because any new topic or any random topic is being asked, but it is how the question is being framed that makes it difficult. Again, improves by practicing as many questions as possible. So the way ahead, I would say, is you have to look at it from where you are beginning. Okay, look at where you are beginning, in the sense that are you an intern, are you a post intern, how much time you have at your disposal, can you go back to reading textbooks, or you just have to quickly revise the questions, right? So हर student की strategy अपनी separate होती है, अपनी अलग journey होती है. So one has to look at what is your starting point. Okay, so obviously I would in the sense say this, that the way ahead is to read on the important topics. And now that you know a topic has often been repeated and often being asked, that important topic should definitely be done A to Z, right? So there will be certain topics, very important topics, which you will have to read from from your notes, whatever you have prepared, whatever is your reading material, whatever is your reading source is, you have to revise it from A to Z, the must know topics. Okay. And if you then you are certain topics which, let's say, are often repeated, but they may not be must know, right? So there are certain topics which are often repeated. Then in that situation, you should also be doing the MCQs for all of these as well. Actually, important topics and often repeated MCQs you should be doing. There will be certain topics which you need not read them A to Z, but you can always revise with the questions as well. So that is a strategy which works for the lesser important topics, right? अभी इसमें डिफरेंस ये भी हो सकता है, देयर मे बी सम टॉपिक which you are already strong at and some topic which you're not that strong at, so one has to strategize this in that order. Okay, so important topics read A to Z, often repeated MCQs तो definitely हमेशा करने ही करने हैं, and then you will have less important topics which can be done solely on the basis of MCQs in a retrospective manner. Okay, and finally, yes, I would say if you compare NEET PG versus INICET, so if you are working on building concept, practicing question, then no exam is actually fairly different. Okay, and I'm telling you that the difficulty level of INICET is only and only in the way the questions are framed majority of the times. Of course, there can be, random questions, random topics being asked, but if that's the case, that is going to be there for all of you, for all of the students who are appearing for the exam. If it's something that is random, something that is new, वो सबके लिए उतना ही न्यू होगा, उतना ही रैंडम होगा, right? So that is my analysis. I hope you gain from it. Thank you so much.